Hey, it's Khalees. If you're new, welcome, and if you're not new, welcome back. Today I'm going to contrast some stereotypes or misconceptions of what life in Hawaii is like versus what it's actually like living here in the islands. Before I move forward, I recognize that many of these stereotypes and misconceptions are not made in bad faith. Rather, they may be due to a lack of knowledge or understanding, which I hope to correct through this video. Although I will be covering some of the more common stereotypes and misconceptions, this is by no means a comprehensive list. They are all, however, things that I have encountered personally. This is a really common one. I'm not really sure how this makes sense practically or how it would work, just because there are mountains and forests in Hawaii too, which you can't get to by swimming or surfing. In reality, people usually drive, walk, or take the bus to get around. On Oahu, the bus is currently our only form of public transportation because it is often delayed, at least where I live. However, people tend to drive, or if it's close enough, walk or bike instead. This is another common one that is understandably confusing. Whereas in other states like New York, where locals are referred to as New Yorkers, being from Hawaii does not make you Hawaiian. This is complicated by the fact that dictionaries like Merriam-Webster define Hawaiian as, quote, a native or resident of Hawaii, though they do include a note with how the word is used in the islands. It's particularly important to get this distinction right. Being Hawaiian has an entire history of colonization and oppression behind it. For example, speaking the Hawaiian language and dancing hula were banned in the 1800s because Christian missionaries considered these practices as pagan rituals. Being Hawaiian is also a proud legacy associated with island heroes like Duka Hanamoku and Carissa Moore. For this reason, among others, some people may be offended if you assume they are Hawaiian just because they're from Hawaii. When people assume that I'm Hawaiian, which I am not, I clarify that I am not Hawaiian before analogizing it to, say, someone who's born, raised, and lived in Japan for all their life, but does not have a drop of Japanese ancestry. This one may surprise you, but it's actually something that I saw earlier this year. I was sitting on the grass, spending time with my grandma, and we saw these two ladies walk by with the whole coconut bras, grass skirts, and the plastic lei, and they definitely stood out because everyone else was dressed in the typical shirt, shorts, and slippers. Even for luau, you will not see locals wearing coconut bras and grass skirts because we buy clothes from places like Target, H&M, and local stores just like people on the mainland. People from Hawaii do not live in grass huts. Just like people on the mainland, we live in houses and apartments for the most part. Though it is true that this used to be the case for old Hawaii, remnants of which you can see in museums and historical sites around the islands, that is not true for most people living on Oahu. Although it is true that the beach is relatively close distance-wise compared to what you might find on the mainland, we do not go to the beach all the time. Parking and traffic are usually a problem unless you go to the beach really early in the morning, and people have work or school, so we do not go to the beach all the time. In fact, in the entire year that I've been home, I think I've gone to the beach less than 5 times. Story time. Once an older couple, I was with my grandma, asked me to dance hula for them after learning that I was from Hawaii. I must have been in elementary or middle school at the time, so even after politely declining the first time, they kept asking and I kept refusing, and eventually they got tired of it, but that was an awkward situation that has stuck with me at least a decade later. Although it is true that people who have grown up in Hawaii learn how to dance hula when they are younger, that doesn't mean we're all masters at it. The last time that I danced was probably in middle school, so I only remember a few basic moves. Hawaii has this reputation for being this idyllic paradise. When I moved to Canada for university, people would often ask me where I call home, and then after I mention that I'm from Hawaii, they immediately ask, oftentimes, why I would ever leave such a beautiful paradise. Although I have been so fortunate to grow up in such a beautiful place with lots of sunlight and a strong sense of community, life in Hawaii is simply not perfect, just as anywhere else in the world. Living in Hawaii is expensive and there are less job opportunities in both quantity and variety compared to the US mainland. For those reasons, many of us who have grown up in the islands leave if we are able to. Some of us leave with the intention to return home. Some of us leave in order to build a better life on the mainland. That is why you see so many people with connections to Hawaii on the mainland, particularly in places like California and Seattle. There are other issues, but these are the two biggest reasons why people leave Hawaii and sometimes never come back to live here. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this video helpful or interesting, please like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, please let me know if you have any ideas for future content. Bye-bye!